Param Vijayate Sri Kṛṣṇa Sankirtanam. Total world victory of Hare Krishna. My name is Sitapati Das.
And my name is Dana Devi.
And this is Bhagavad-gita 232. Bhagavad-gita, the Song of God, as it is, by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized. Traditional name Sankhya Yoga. Text number 32. Invoking auspiciousness. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha yadṛcchayā copapannaṁ svarga-dvāram apāvṛtam sukhinaḥ kṣatriyāḥ Pārtha labhante yuddham īdṛśam yadṛcchayā
By its own accord,
cha
also
upapannam
arrived at
svarga-dvāram
heavenly planet, door
apāvṛtam
wide opened,
sukhinaḥ
very happy, the
kṣatriyāḥ
members of the royal order,
Parāśara-smṛti
Purport,
labhante
do achieve
yuddham
war
īdṛśam.
like this.
Translation by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Yes.
And editors. You want to read this one? You read this.
Yeah. O Pārtha, happy are the kṣatriya to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets.
Epic. Purport. As Supreme Teacher of the world, Lord Kṛṣṇa condemns the attitude of Arjuna, who said, I do not find any good in this fighting. It will cause perpetual habitation in hell. Such statements by Arjuna were due to ignorance only. He wanted to become non-violent in the discharge of his specific duty. For a kṣatriya, to be in the battlefield and to become non-violent is the philosophy of fools. The Parāśara-smṛti, or religious codes made by Parāśara, the great sage and father of Vyāsadeva, it is stated, kṣatriyo hi praja rakshan shastrapani pradandayan nirjitya parisainya dikshitim dharmena palayet. The kṣatriya's duty is to protect the citizens from all kinds of difficulties, and for that reason, he has to apply violence in suitable cases for law and order. Therefore, he has to conquer the soldiers of inimical kings, and thus, with religious principles, he should rule over the world. You don't take that last paragraph, eh?
The last one's
Yeah,
sad. Okay. Considering all aspects, Arjuna had no reason to refrain from fighting. If he should conquer his enemy, he would enjoy the kingdom. And if he should die in a battle, he would be elevated to the heavenly planet, whose doors were wide open to him. Fighting would be for his benefit in either case.
Yeah. Interesting construction here. Considering all aspects, Arjuna had no reason to refrain from fighting. If he should conquer his enemies, now normally when you say that, you should do this, it's kind of like we would call it an imperative.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, an imperative. You should do this. So there's no particular voice in English for that. But it's like a moral imperative, should do. In some kind of like RFCs, request for comments, they're internet protocols or like specifications, there are sections that are called should and must. Should do this, but must do this. Should and must. However, this sentence is not that. You know what the sentence is?
If he should die in the battlefield, well, it's secure he's going to die.
Yeah, but grammatically,
Yeah.
it's subjunctive.
Why?
In the Spanish translation for this, seguro, que dice, si él conquiste a sus enemigos. Conquiste, ¿no? No, conquista, no, conquiste.
Oh, you are up there. I was talking about they should die. Never mind. Okay, I'm a bit below. Sorry.
Or if he should die in the battle, it's like hypothetical, we would call it. It's not imperative, it's hypothetical. Okay, let's have a look at the diff. This is going to look weird here. Yeah, no, it's no good. I still haven't got it to wrap. Yeah, for a kṣatriya to be in the battlefield, on the battlefield, sure. I mean, it makes sense, but like it wasn't necessary. A comma in heavenly planets. This Parāśara-smṛti, I've never heard of it before. I mean, I've read this verse so many times. So there's like some added commas for grammar, but nothing significant in there. I'll make this smaller.
Yeah.
There we go. This is funny here. It's like arrived at has been scratched out and at has been written back in.
Oh my God.
Sukhinaḥ, of the heavenly planets, rather svarga, of the heavenly planets, rather than heavenly planet. The doors of the heavenly planets. Non-restrictive modifier, commas mandatory, a positive. Here the original manuscript shows no indication for italics. Someone, it was Rupanuga, I was listening, and he was saying, how come they didn't compile this list of like commas and stuff and give it to Prabhupada before? But I guess they're busy doing other stuff. Non-restrictive clause. I mean, you know, to me, it's kind of like, what happens if you're an editor and you're editing Srila Prabhupada's books and he's cranking them out, right? And that's what you're doing all the time. And then Srila Prabhupada goes. Now you got like, what do I do now? Before you were like editing like crazy. I'm sure, and this is a speculation, that you got to think to yourself and just put myself in that situation. You got to go like, I'm at a loose end here. And you know what? When we did that crazy, 5-7 year marathon, whatever it was, putting those books out, man, we were just going nuts. We need to go back. We could go back and like do it, I can see how they could think that. I can just see it. You'd have to be very, yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, I wonder how many people were involved in that. I don't think only one editor was completely doing this.
In the 72 Mac?
Yeah.
Mac 72 was Hayagriva, and then he sent it over to Satsarupa and Jayadvaita. So there were 3 of them. And Roy Ram did some, and Hayagriva, and that might have been the 68. Yeah.
Well, this Jayadvaita was basically a junior at that.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, some people like look, and even Garuda says it, and I agree. There are some things in here that are obvious and clear, but even then, like, if it were a choice between leaving it the way that it was or incorporating all of the changes that he's done, it's better to go back to the original. But that also depends on further changes in the future. Anyway, as Supreme Teacher of the world, let's go for the translation. This is Prabhupada's original manuscript. O Pārtha, kṣatriyas who attain such opportunities of fighting out of its own accord, they're very much happy, because for them the door of the heavenly planets becomes wide open. As Supreme Teacher of the world, Lord Kṛṣṇa condemns the attitude of Arjuna when he said, I do not find any good in this fighting. It would... I think we're clipping. Yeah. It would cause perpetual habitation in the hell. Such statements of Arjuna were due to his ignorance only, that he wanted to become non-violent in the discharge of his specific duty. To be in the battlefield and to become non-violent is the philosophy of fools. In the Parāśara-smṛti, or religious codes made by Parāśara, the great sage and father of Vyāsadeva, it is said like this. kṣatriyāḥ praja rakshan kṣatrapani pradandayan. Nirjitya parasainyasya adikshitim dharmena palayat. A kṣatriya's duty is to protect the citizens from all kinds of difficulties, and for that reason he has to apply violence in suitable cases in the matter of law and order. As such, he has to conquer over the soldiers of the inimical kings, and thus with religious principles he should rule over the world. So from all sides, Arjuna had no reason to refrain from the fighting. If he would, if he should, so he changed it. So Hayagriva changed it to should from would. If he would conquer over the enemies, he would enjoy the kingdom. And if he would die in the battle, he would be elevated to the heavenly planets, of which the door was wide open for him. So fighting was there for his benefit in either case, in either way, Prabhupada. That's a good edit by Hayagriva there. If he should conquer over the enemies, he would enjoy the kingdom. And if he should die in battle, he would be elevated to the heavenly planets, of which the door was wide open for him. Aside from the authorization of the changes, I find I do
Are you coming closer to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like some of the edits from both. Okay. To the point. Happy are the kṣatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets.
It sounds like a different whole sentence.
A different what?
Whole sentence, the whole thing.
Different from what?
Purport. From what is Srila Prabhupada, or am I getting it?
No, this purport is actually quite close to Srila Prabhupada's original wording. Yeah. And there's not much change between the first and second edition in this one. But this idea here that kṣatriyas are happy about fighting opportunities because they're either going to win or go to Valhalla. They don't have fear of death. I asked Mid-Journey AI.
What did you ask?
I
Are you
asked
scared to die?
No, the image AI that we've been using to do the thumbnails for the Vaishnava Voices podcast. I asked it to give me a photo of a mystic Aryan warrior in the Himalayas. And then I asked it to give me a photo of a mystic Aryan warrior in the forest. And I asked it to give me a photo of a mystic Aryan warrior on the steppes, which is kind of like the plains, you know? And it's interesting looking at what Midjourney considers a mystic Aryan warrior. They're very, kind of like what we might think of as like barbarians or like American Indians, you know? Horse riding, kind of plains people. Carrying like a spear or a bow and arrow, an axe, a sword. And they have this, they're like, you know, they living or dying to them, they're kind of like similar to this idea of the samurai. You know, in the book, the Hagakure, Hidden Leaves by Tsunetomo Yamamoto, he says one should retaliate without thought of victory or defeat or survival, simply to take action. He says, even if one faces 1,000 enemies, one should stand fast, determined to cut them down one by one. Another thing he says is, in any choice between life and death, one should choose death without hesitation. In this way, one will awaken from his dreams.
Okay. Sounds heavy.
Well, it's like, you know, when you know that you're not the body, and Kṛṣṇa is saying the same thing to Arjuna. He's saying, you know, these guys, they're happy to get the opportunity to die in battle like this. Although it's funny because Arjuna never really argues about being worried about his own death.
No, he's more talking about family. My family. What about my this? What about religious principles? You know, what about the elders? What about the children? What about the woman? Yeah, so it's all of the considerations he's having, which they are great, but you know, like Kṛṣṇa says that's not for a kṣatriya.
Yeah, well, in this specific...
Well, kṣatriyas do kill or do fight to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
They just go, okay, like you said, they're fearless.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not afraid of death. So they go ahead, And here we see Arjuna with his female brain bringing a lot of considerations and
Yeah, and well,
excuses as well.
Specifically in this one, the Purport, Prabhupada is pointing to the verse where Arjuna says to Kṛṣṇa, I've heard through disciplic succession that those who destroy the family tradition...
Pardon me. What's the time? It's 10:41.
10:41.
We had a really busy day. Sorry. It's quite rude.
Yeah. We were at the Saturday night feast in New Plymouth.
And then we have a tiny little excursion.
Up to the mountains.
Yeah.
That was before. And then we went to the Saturday feast in New Plymouth, which is 45 minutes drive away, and then drove back. And we also rearranged the studio, which is why the Bhagavad-gita is bigger, and why when we're looking at the Bhagavad-gita, we're not looking over here. We're now looking here.
Works for me.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, I'll figure something else out. I got a few tricks up my sleeve.
Great. I like that.
Arjuna, he says, those who destroy the family tradition dwell always in hell. In the first edition. In the second edition, he says those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell.
Well,
it's so funny because...
What's the difference between that?
What's the difference?
Those that destroy the family tradition dwell in hell.
Yeah.
And what's the second edition?
Those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell.
It's just the meaning it changes, Those who destroys the family traditions, there is a specific enemy, and the other one is...
Those whose family tradition is destroyed. Because...
By who?
No, because what he's saying, because in that segment he's saying that, the Varna Sankara comes, women are unprotected, irreligion, they become involved in irreligion. Varna Sankara, unwanted progeny rises. Due to the rise in unwanted progeny, all kinds of community welfare projects are destroyed. Because of that, as a result, the offerings to the ancestors are stopped, and therefore the ancestors fall down from the heavenly planets. And then he says, I have heard it through disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell. In other words, because their family line and the transmission of the Vedic culture in their family is stopped, the children stop making the offerings to the ancestors fall down from the heavenly planets, and so therefore those whose family tradition is destroyed dwell always in hell. That's edition 2. Edition 1 is the people who, they cause the destruction of the family dynasty, the family tradition, leading to ultimately the ancestors falling down to hell. And he says, I have heard from disciplic succession, this is edition 1, those who destroy the family tradition dwell always in hell.
Those who destroy the family tradition.
Yeah. So, either way, that this is a callback to that.
Mm-hmm.
See, Srila Prabhupada points it out here. I do not find any good in this fighting. It will cause perpetual habitation in hell. Which in itself is actually a... either way, actually, because, although Arjuna says those who destroy the family tradition dwell always in hell, or those whose family tradition is destroyed dwell either in hell, he's actually talking about himself in that. He's included in that. Because he goes to hell for destroying the family tradition, or he goes to hell because his family tradition is destroyed. But either way, this callback here of Srila Prabhupada, you remember I said earlier that Arjuna never talks about being scared about dying himself.
Yeah.
But he's not scared of dying, he's scared of going to hell. He even says, better that they kill me unresisting and unarmed on the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not scared of dying, he's scared of going to hell. which is pretty crazy, you know, because now people, they have no fear of going to hell, that they don't want to die, right?
Yeah, that's right. They don't want to die, but they
have no fear of going to
they
hell.
don't think there is hell or whatever. It's like, okay, how do I get if there is hell or not, whether you go or not?
Yeah, Arjuna's completely the opposite. He has no fear of dying, but he doesn't want to go to hell.
Must be hellish
To live like that.
in order for you to be scared to go to hell. But now people are scared of death.
It's a funny joke, you know?
What?
Oh, you know, I would say sometimes to devotees when leaving, I'd say, see you in hell. If you get there before me, tell them I'm on my way and open a preaching center. So anyway, I said that one time to Cam, see you in hell. And he was like, psych, we're already there. That's what this
True.
is. Happy are the kṣatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planet. As we said yesterday, or as I said yesterday, this is the switch into this other kind of world of the Vedic paradigm, which is not about the soul and the atma and transcendence, but is about going to svarga-loka. And that's why the Vedanta Sutra is written, to settle the controversy, like which one is actually the goal? Is it liberation, Brahma Nirvanam, or is it svarga-loka? Because even here in the Bhagavad-gita, we find both of those arguments, right?
I think the best thing is serving Kṛṣṇa.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best goal, end of your life. Wherever I go to the hellish planets, I just want to serve Kṛṣṇa.
Yeah.
Because there you have the certainty, you know. Doesn't matter wherever I am, Kṛṣṇa got me.
Mm-hmm.
There's fully trust.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
transcending this part of the Veda. Because, you know, this part of the Veda, promising like heavenly delights and all that kind of stuff, is meant to motivate the materially attached to perform dharmic activity, which gradually purifies them from their attachment until they take to the transcendental path directly,
Yeah.
with knowledge and intention. So, yeah, when you're beyond that, you neither desire to go to heaven nor do you fear going to hell. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays, Mama Janmani Janmanishvare Bhavatad Bhaktirohitaki Tvaye. Birth after birth, Janmanishvare. Mama Janmani Janmanishvare. Bhavatad Bhaktirohitaki Tvaye. May I have your causeless devotional service. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he prays, Janme Janme Dao Ohe Gauda Hari Ahoituki Bhakti Charane Tomar. Janme Janme Dao, birth after birth thou give me. Ohe Gauda Hari O Gora Hari Ahoituki Bhakti. Unmotivated, causeless bhakti, devotional service, Charane Tomar, to your lotus feet. Birth after birth, Ohe Gauda Hari, give me causeless devotional service to your lotus feet. Yeah, he doesn't pray to go to the heavenly planets or to avoid going to hell.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you know, if you go to the heavenly planets, will you stay there? I don't know. But the certainty about devotional service, wherever you are, Kṛṣṇa is with you and you serving him. It's like, sweet. Let me serve him, you know, because I know my master is there with so much love and devotion. You're doing that. But then you go to the heavenly planets, you're just chasing demigoddesses and you just, you know, high up for a certain time. And then when your good karma count is done, see you, brother. They will drop you like a hot potatoes down here.
You know what Swami Tripurari says about that?
What?
He's coming on the Vaishnava Voices podcast, by the way, Swami Bhaktivedanta Tripurari, the incarnation of book distribution. But this is what he says about that. He says, devotees don't want to go to the heavenly planets, but many of them would like to pass through there on their way back to Godhead. Yeah.
Who doesn't like sense enjoyment? Come on, it's great.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
they want to pass through heavenly delights, you know? But, we become gradually purified, and that's Mishra Bhakti, Karma Mishra Bhakti, mixed with desire for fruitive results. Jnana Mishra Bhakti, knowledge and the desire for liberation. The material world's suffering, want to get out of it. It's the desire for liberation. And then beyond that, Jnana Shunya Bhakti, where one desires only to serve the Lord, no matter what might be, what that might entail.
Do you imagine that? Like, you're serving Krishna in the most confidential place where he lives. Every single time it's ever fresh. It's not like in this world. You get bored, you get a job after some time, you're like, oh my God. You go to university, you're so excited, you study, and then sometimes you're like, oh my God. You go downhill. You get into a relationship after sometimes like, oh my gosh. And then you go and and then so there is always a high peak of things, and then you go down. But in Krishna consciousness, when you're serving Krishna, is ever fresh. Nothing is the same. And the level of love that you develop there is even greater. So there is no beginning, there is no end. That's like, wow, it's incredible, Who doesn't want to feel like this amazing feeling of love for someone that will never end? It's incredible, isn't it? Would you imagine that between us? Like that our love is just like high peak all the time. And every day is ever fresh.
Yeah, I mean...
It's like, wow, I do want that, I do, serving Krishna, of course, and the good thing about this is like in relationships, you are, in Krishna conscious relationship, you're serving. And that's a good thing.
Fact.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my tiny little realization and desire.
Muy bien.
Yeah, anyways.
Okay.
One thing that I like about Srila Prabhupada, I love Srila Prabhupada. There is a part where he says about that part. No, what's that one? About the fools. Go down. That one. For a kṣatriya to be in the battlefield and to become non-violent is the philosophy of fools. He's just like cut straight, That is true. Like, what are you doing in the battlefield and not fighting? You know what I mean? It's like, get out.
Well, I mean, we were on that. We recorded the teaser for next week's episode of Farm or Die with Mother Revati Devidasi.
Yeah.
Prabhupada's disciple. And she was saying, we're in World War III right now.
Yeah.
And, it was last night we were talking about this, and kṣatriyas, I can't remember who asked, but someone asked anyway, what would a kṣatriya look like in this day and age? And the Sangopangastra Parshadam, the weapon, the astra of this age is the Harinam, the holy name, the Harinam Sankirtan. And so, to be on the battlefield of World War III and to not sally forth chanting vigorously, asserting that God exists through the performance of Harinam Sankirtan Yagya is to be non-violent. That's really going to make a lot of noise.
Nope.
It does because of the microphone right there.
Oh, sorry. That is true, That is one thing that is the medicine or the weapon for this Kali Yuga. And you know what I think about this? It's more, it's like salvationist, what do you call this one? Self-salvationist?
Salvationist.
Salvationist, Oh, I'm just going to go to the mountain and do my own thing and I don't want to deal with this. It's like, I'm sorry. Whether you like it or not, you're right in the middle. Like, imagine that, like, you're in the middle of fighting and you just sit down. It's like, oh, no, I'm just going to go and meditate and read my books and I don't want to deal with this. Duh. And it's exactly what, it's like exactly what's happening in Kali Yuga. What are you doing? Chant, chant, chant. Let's get out. Book distribution, chanting, in every opportunity that we can. So yeah, we have to be doing that.
Yeah, facts. Okay, let's have a look at this.
Or should I say it? Should be doing that.
Imperative.
Yeah. Okay, letters.
Letter from Prabhupada to Narayan Maharaj. Now, I don't know if we can get this to fit. No. Oh, man. Okay, this is going to be great. Just scan across like this.
That's not that big, though. Small.
No. Oh, man. Is there another way?
Slow.
Here we go.
Oh, clever.
There we go.
Okay,
here we go. 26 Second Ave. So this is a letter from Srila Prabhupada to Srila Narayan Maharaj. 26 Second Avenue, apartment B1R, New York, 10,003 USA. July 1st, 1967. You know, I might have an opportunity to go to New York in September of this year. And if that happens, that probably will be my last journey overseas in this lifetime. To go to 26 Second Avenue and the Tompkins Square Park. I've been there before, but yeah, that's where I go again. Here we go. Sripad Narayan Maharaj, this is July 1st, 67. Gradually, I am becoming well. Today is my best day, which is why I'm writing you a letter in my own hand. I still have not received a reply to the letter I sent you on June 14th. Here's the letter, written by his own hand. So previously they were typed, you see? Maybe he dictated it and someone typed it. Maybe he typed it. This one's written in his own hand. I am very eagerly waiting to know if you have been to Delhi and if the books were sent or not. See document B and D. In the meantime, I have written a letter to Vinoda Kumar. I haven't received any reply from him. I'm worried about that also. As soon as you receive my letter, please kindly reply to me. It is decided that I am going to San Francisco on Wednesday, 5th July, and on July 9th, there will be Sri Sri Jagannath Deva Rath Yatra Maha Festival. That's what we were reading about the other night. From the Radha Damodar Vilasa, remember? And the truck was stalling and falling back down. Shyamasundara was driving. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how successful it will be, but the program is settled. There were some plans for my return to India, but at present it is not possible for me to travel 24 hours by airplane. I'm therefore going to San Francisco, which takes only 6 hours. It has been decided that I will stay on the beach by the sea. As soon as you receive my letter, please reply to the following address. International Society for Kṛṣṇa Consciousness, 518 Frederick Street, California, 94117. What happened to Vinoda Kumar's passport? I've written him a separate letter, but there has been no reply so far. In this faraway foreign country with a very weak body, I feel some difficulty if I don't receive letters on time. I still don't feel fully strong, but I'm writing to you in my own hand. I hope you will make me happy by responding as soon as you receive my letter. The work I have at hand will take 2 to 3 months to finish. I hope that by next September I may be able to return to India. If I obtain all of your blessings, I hope I will quickly finish my work and be able to return to Sri Sri Vrindavan Dham. I pray you are all well. Vasamvad. Gratefully, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami. Far out, man. I mean, you know, Srila Prabhupada did this whole thing. None of his godbrothers came over to America to help him.
And how old was he? He was 69, I think, at that time.
When he came over, yeah.
And he's doing that. He's all sick in a foreign country, getting everything from scratch. He is just incredible.
Yeah.
And they're just giving it back.
And he built it up into this worldwide thing. And it's like, not only did people not come over from his godbrothers, not only did they not come over, they didn't even they couldn't even get it together to send him some mridungas. You know, when we were down at the Parliament protest. And devotees locally in New Zealand wouldn't supply us with books for it.
They deny it.
Yeah, devotees in a devotee in Australia pulled it together and air freighted us a ton of books over. So it was like
Blessings to this soul.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, blessings.
That was Dandakaranya Prabhu over there. And devotees here in New Zealand pulled money and gave donations to fund it. And incredible support. And so when Srila Prabhupada says, when there's a war, sending materials to the front line is like the number one priority. I have some small direct experience of that.
Yeah.
And like the experience of this, it's like, guys, I'm like dying over here. And we're getting something off the ground. I got 2 centers on 2 coasts, the East Coast and the West Coast of America. I can see why he was just like, they are all useless. They're all useless.
I wonder why they weren't responding here. One, they were jealous and envious of what he was doing. Because if you are full, or you're just incomplete, useless, like you said. There's 2 things in there. Because if you really align with the person and you're loving it, what the other person is doing, such a love of like contributing to us that, it will be eager, let's do this, But I don't think he was experiencing that. And I don't think the people were acting from that level. People were just like, whatever. God knows what they were doing, because they were responding after a month. Or
2 months, 3
2
months.
months, yeah.
Well, they were doing stuff. They're busy. No, I can get it.
Yeah, they're busy, but you know what? In 2 months.
It's ultimately Krishna's arrangement.
Yeah.
It's ultimately, for the glorification of his servitor. And yeah, they're just like, they got a lot going on. And then there's this thing of this guy in America, doing this thing. Meanwhile, he's like, I got like 5 disciples or 10 or whatever. And they're dealing with like 100 people, 1,000 in India. And they're like, no one's ever done this, but no one's ever done it. People went over there and stuff and did stuff in the West, but nothing happened. And they did that in the time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. And like on his direct, he sponsored them and everything and sent them over. And then Swami Maharaj just goes over there to do his thing. And
It's cold.
and so they're just like, oh ye of little faith. Yeah. But I can see, you can look at the kind of mitigating or causative factors, intermediate causes and stuff. But I can understand why Srila Prabhupada and how Srila Prabhupada developed his, hey, these guys are worthless or useless. And then later, when he brought his disciples back to India and then they suddenly started preaching to them, oh, hey, he's not the real deal, we're the real deal. Then he was just like, okay, these guys are like... Now, at that point, it was envious.
Yeah, obviously.
But not at this point, because there's nothing for them to be envious of as far as they can tell. Until they actually saw them.
Yeah, that could be as well. But you never know, the hearts of people. Probably they're thinking like, who this guy think this is ordering us to do this and that or whatever.
Oh yeah.
The thought. I'm just thinking, and where does that thought come from? It's from the point of envy and jealousy, And I can think in India, there's a little bit more the transport.
In the 60s.
I don't know how it in the 60s was, but in a way I can understand. Not sure if Srila Prabhupada, I don't know, I didn't really put much attention to that. I know he was sending money, but was it like extra money for them to get themselves by, buying them some lunch?
Where? Back in...
Yeah. Because if you're asking someone, like, to do something for you, at least give some sort of, like, Lakshmi to, get yourself a, pay your taxi or get yourself a refreshment or a breakfast. Then they will feel more encouraged, Because you never know. Maybe these people were, like, empty-handed, not much money.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like, oh, I have to go and do this. Oh, my gosh. Could be that as well. I don't know. There's many thoughts that come in my head.
Mm.
But I'm just speculating, thinking from 2 points of,
Mm-hmm.
2 angles.
Mm.
Could be that. Yeah, but if it was that case, it would be nice to communicate. Say, look, Prabhupada, could you please send us a bit of money for our food, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to do that, but I'm struggling with money. Could you please send me for my lunch or my transport? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just be open and be honest about where you are at. Share your world.
Mm.
And I think he could have. I think he's, Srila Prabhupada is a very kind person.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, we're about to hit 11:08. The auspicious time to finish. Okay, 232. Yadṛcchayā copapannaṁ svarga-dvāram apāvṛtam sukhinaḥ kṣatriyā Pṛthā labhante yuddham īdṛśam.
O Pārtha, happy are the kṣatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planet.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Kṛṣṇa.
Param Vijayate Sri Kṛṣṇa Sankirtanam. Total world victory of Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.